3 more shorter Dragon Ball What If requests here. The first request comes from the Ultimate Meme Lord on What If Abo and Kado were called to Namek instead of the Ginyu Tokusentai, assuming them to be equal to the likes of Rikum at the time. Abo brings the Dragon Balls to Frieza, and things go the same until Goku arrives. Goku knocking out Kado when he attacks him prevents their fusion as an option, and the Dragon Team go to Frieza's ship, where Vegeta gets rid of Abo too. Vegeta then goes to sleep earlier than usual, with the others seizing the opportunity where the additional time has Kuririn request to make Goku immortal as Vegeta approaches. It isn't long after Frieza arrives, and soon transforms after a scuffle with Vegeta. Goku's 10 times Kaioken is able to put more pressure on Frieza, but things still avoid diverging too much until Frieza goes into his true form, unable to benefit from Saiyan power now that he's immortal. Even becoming a Super Saiyan after Frieza succeeds in eliminating the others is fruitless when Frieza uses 50%, and he chooses to destroy the planet when filled with rage at this monkey having taken what seemed rightfully his. The code of space's vacuum is something Goku's Saiyan biology cannot counter, as his immortal body eventually becomes immobile, and Frieza heads towards Earth for revenge, while the Ginyu Tokusentai conquer Yardrat. Frieza destroys Earth, but the impact awakens Boo, who, even weakened, makes quick work of Frieza before wandering the universe, eventually being found by Babidi. Meanwhile, Cold Dior comes out of retirement and has Sorbet's information network learn of Frieza having been destroyed by Majin Buu. Ginyu proposes using his body change if this is such a great foe, to which Cold sees it as worth a shot. It's soon after that Shin and Kibito meet with Cold when seeing him as the best hope they have, with his natural talent, and have him spar with them on the Kaioshinkai to bring out his latent power, him having unleashed the Zeto sword at around the time the Ginyu Tokusentai engage Babidi's group, and is transported there. Ginyu succeeds in the body change, while Cold gets rid of Dabura before both help Shin get rid of Babidi. Cold continues his business, with Ginyu's deep sleeps in his new body, causing Geese to take over as interim commander at times, and Tagoma eventually becoming a temporary member to not throw off their team poses. For Super, Granola would be dissatisfied at Cold's rule and wish to become the strongest in the universe to overthrow he and the Heaters. For GT, there's no threat to Baby's total domination. It's here we see how a different choice in backup would provide a better short-term win to Frieza, with a different timing of events in the arc, highlighting the tension important to the sequence of events on Namek. The next one is from Totally Human Productions, on What If Goku became Earth's Kami. Remembering how beneficial it was for his Shugyo, this factor outweighs Goku's boredom, with him accepting Kami's offer. Chi-Chi, having yet to learn of the world shifting towards academics, has her raise Gohan to be the next Kami, with him being taught by Popo from an early age. Gohan quickly proves himself to be more talented than Goku, but a lack of desire to progress far causes his battle power by the time Raditz arrives to be around 100, Goku only being slightly stronger than usual. The previous Kami also removes Gohan's tail soon after birth. Events with Raditz go the same, and Piccolo's tutelage is far more beneficial to Gohan, with him already having the basic grips of ki cultivation, the ferocity of Piccolo's regimen, having him bring out his Saiyan nature, but have it be controlled by his spiritual nurture, and be strong enough to fight on par with Nappa, without any rage. The combination of the other Dragon Team members defeating Nappa, with Yamcha as the only casualty thus far. Vegeta stepping in affects things, with him wiping out all but Gohan and Piccolo, the latter being necessary, whereas the former is someone he wishes to eradicate in front of Kakaroto. As we have no indication Kami's teleportation can extend beyond to and from Enma's location, Goku takes just as long as usual down Snake Road, but is aware enough of Popo's magic carpet to use that to get to Vegeta instantly. Goku tells Vegeta to change the location, and the battle goes the same, beyond Vegeta not needing the Power Ball when the moon remains. Piccolo, being stronger than Kuririn, allows he and Gohan to stick in the fight and defeat Vegeta. Goku still requests they let Vegeta go, to which Piccolo decides to try things his his way, when acknowledging how much Gohan's upbringing affected his growth in ki. Without Kuririn there to propose going to Namek, the Dragon team accept the losses of Kuririn and Chaozu, with Ten Shinhan also remaining in Otherworld to be with Chaozu and learn from Kaior. Vegeta not having mentioned his plan to go to Namek means Frieza isn't motivated to go there, Vegeta instead causing many casualties there alone, until Nail is sent to get rid of him. On Earth, Gohan progresses well despite not going to Namek, with the perfect balance he's developed. Piccolo also pushes himself to try and catch up to Goku, and has a rematch with him around a year later, though Goku still wins with his use of Kaioken. Piccolo is content in realizing he's moved beyond his need for vengeance, and has a pure desire to surpass his previous limits. When the Heart Virus takes Goku, and the Dragon team are faced with 17 and 18, Gohan is still nowhere near strong as usual, and sees the only option as the Room of Spirit and Time, ordering Popo to assist him as the order of the new Kami-sama. Though he isn't able to train as much as usual, the time taken allows him to utilize his Saiyan power, and unlock Super Saiyan over the 6 months he's able to endure. He is still nowhere near the level to do anything to 17 and 18, but it is enough to progress better than usual, and clarity of mind to understand mastering Super Saiyan is best. Gohan is able to easily dismantle the twins, and destroy Cell when it appears in age 788, far stronger than Trunks would normally be. Gohan is able to progress with the Zetor Sword quick enough to get his potential unleashed before going to face Babidi. Gohan assures peace for Earth, and is one day rewarded by his father returning for a day, some years later, who teaches Gohan and Trunks the fusion dance, should it ever be necessary. This proves so when Baby becomes active in the GT continuity. Having become far stronger since getting their potential unleashed, the fusion is too much for Baby, as Gohan and Trunks assure the Earth will remain safe, under the watchful protection of this Kami and his successor. It's here that we see how, despite not changing Goku too much, the benefit this would have on Gohan would showcase the important aspect nature and nurture as well as balance lay in his character. Finally, from Index, is What If Tarble and Vegeta swapped places. Vegeta is still the firstborn, but with a low battle power. His father is still keeping him around as a necessity, until Tarble is born with greater power, after which Vegeta is banished to the same planet Tarble was. It's difficult to judge the age gap between them, with what little is explored of Tarble, but considering he was able to recognize Vegeta, and, for what Dokkan Battle is worth, inherit the Garikohor, I'd give them roughly a 2-year gap, with Tarble being around 3 at the time of Planet Vegeta's destruction. Frieza's influence, as well as the ego his father gave him beforehand, has Tarble embody the same ideals as Vegeta, and the main difference being the younger age causing him to be slightly weaker during the Saiyan arc, though not enough to drastically affect the plot. Vegeta doesn't simply get Tarble's personality though, as the frustration of being abandoned and usurped as his father's heir motivates him to improve to get revenge in the future, before learning of his planet's destruction. Vegeta then goes about visiting other worlds as a freelance mercenary, a line of work that one day brings him into the path of a young bounty hunter named Granola. Granola fiercely opposes his stronger foe, and Vegeta spares him when telling him he holds no love for his species that ostracized him, and that they can work together to defeat Tarble. Granola agreeing when Monaito had taught him people are more than their species. The pair work together on dangerous missions, with Vegeta's Saiyan power coming out from the injuries he survives. By the time of the Cell arc, he's grown enough to confidently oppose and overthrow the Heaters. It's with his last breaths that Elec tells him the information he received, that Frieza was defeated on Namek, and whether or not Tarble survived is unknown. His dream of revenge destroyed, Vegeta's rage turns inwards as he transforms into a Super Saiyan and decides that if he can't overthrow those who oppressed him, he'll create a new order in their absence. Granola is wary of his friend choosing to rule as Kin Vegeta did, but sticks by him for now. Vegeta goes about bringing all of Frieza's old territory under his protection, while mercilessly executing any of the old guards remaining there. This brings Abo and Kado to him, where their fused self proves too much for Vegeta, who is aided by Granola in escaping. They eventually come to New Namek, when randomly travelling, where they are informed of Tarble's survival on Earth through the Dragon Balls, which rekindles Vegeta's ambition. Vegeta demands these Namekians let him use the Dragon Balls, and when Muri refuses, he lets out his dark desires by eradicating the population aside from Muri. Granola is too horrified by this as he returns to Cereal and puts efforts into finding the other Dragon Ball there, while Vegeta heads to Earth when judging Muri as someone who can wait. Granola eventually finds them and wishes for all his potential to be unleashed as he heads to Earth to stop Vegeta. Vegeta's conquest bring Abo and Kado to him much sooner than Tarble, causes him to arrive around a year before the Buu arc. Vegeta seeks out Tarble at Capsule Corporation and demands revenge, to which Tarble replies that he had no say in his father's order. Abo and Kado quickly arrive, but Tarble eliminates them before they can fuse, when viewing them as a distraction. It's then that Granola arrives, who challenges Vegeta to battle, in which Granola's full potential far outmatches that of a Vegeta, a bit weaker than his equivalents that fought 19 and 18, and Granola regretfully finishes Vegeta off, before turning his attention to Tarble. Tarble is no match for Granola, but Trunks reveals his power in an attempt to save his father. This familial bond, unlike what he'd heard and seen of Saiyans, has him relent and tell them he'll let Tarble go for the moment. While he contemplates his decision, Monaito tells him the truth about Bardock when he returns to Cereal to clear Granola's mind, and Tarble decides to tutor Trunks earlier when aware of his strength. Despite all that, the Buu arc plays out the same as usual, beyond Trunks defeating Goten easier, with the option of bringing Granola to defeat Buu being too much of a gamble for Bulma to make when unaware of the depth of his ki. The major change in Super, besides Resurrection F not happening, is Tarble bringing up Granola as worth inviting to the Tournament of Power, with Goku quickly finding him. Goku is a bit disappointed from how much Tarble hyped him up, but says he'll do, which convinces Granola to sacrifice his lifespan to become the strongest in the universe, when aware half measures could cause his life to be erased. This is only enough to make him stronger than Goku, and isn't applicable to boost him further when facing those of other universes, but does mean he can bring himself to the level of any of his teammates when they get stronger, swiftly defeating Toppo and Dispo when Gohan becomes strong enough to fight Kefla, and then defeating Jiren after Goku acquires Ultra Instinct. His wish leaves him in conflict when he could revive his entire species, but he forgoes it in favour of the other universes when having seen from Vegeta how clinging to the past can miss the bigger picture. The events of Superhero go the same, and though I wouldn't include a GT scenario here, as I'd say Tarble is a character far more tied to the Super era and continuity, it would be basically the same until the height difference prevents a fusion between he and Goku, with Bulma instead using the Brute's Wave machine on Gohan, who becomes a Super Saiyan 4 with Pan's help. It's here that we see Vegeta's insecurities of his self-worth, that are a core part of his surface level ego, and character motivations on full display, as well as a way of working in the idea of Granola being in the Tournament of Power that partially fulfills another request. Thank you for having watched through these 3 What Ifs. Comment any requests, subscribe to keep updated on them and more, check out these older ones, and I'll see you later.